I think it was either Suwon or Yumbu, and we stayed the night there. Now, when we stopped, and during the summer months, these people dig. They have a special spade instrument for digging the peat out of the ground, and the peat is stacked up during the summer to dry, and then at the end of the summer they bring it in and stack it up beside the houses. Now these are only wee cottages in Northern Ireland, and they stack them up. That's the fuel for the whole winter. Now, having said that, the same applies in Korea. You know about the A-frame? You know the A-frame? No? A-frame, famous thing in Korea. Two handles on it like a forklift. And the peasant has a stick with a crook. And when he goes out, he plants it on the ground and he puts the hook on it and sits there. And he goes around and he gets all sorts of stuff, jungle grass or twigs and anyway, at the end of the day, it'll be piled up with stuff. And he would go back to his cottage and he'd put all that stuff beside the house. Now that was their winter fuel. Now, cooking. They just have the one room, and at the back they have a kitchen, as you would call it. Now the kitchen comprised of the roof and two sides. The rest was open. Now, built at the side of the house was in baked clay. They have their cooking utensils, like two or three pots, and that was permanent there. That's what they cooked. Now, all that stuff was there for the fuel to light the fire and do their cooking. Now, I observed this before, seeing what they did, and I looked in, had matches, and I got some of the fuel and put it underneath and lit the fire. And what happened was, the Koreans were very well advanced underfloor heating. Well, as soon as they lit that fire, all the heat went underneath, as well as cooking. It went underneath and heated the floor. Now the floor was baked clay again, and baked clay, I say, retains the heat for ages afterwards. And what happened was the smoke and that went out through the back to the chimney, whatever it was. And inside about half an hour, now it was freezing when we were in there, half an hour you'd take our jackets off and we had a great night's sleep. But so primitive, but so very good. And that just shows you the ingenuity of the Korean peasants. I'll never forget it. Leave the water bottle of your cup, which was aluminium. And you also had your issue with what they call a Tommy cooker. A Tommy cooker came in a wee square box of cardboard, and we took it out, this wee metal thing with wee sides on it, so you could put your either your mess tin. I don't know what a mess tin is. It's what you cook in, individual cooking. It's two parts, and you do your cooking and that sort of thing. And well, on the wee stand, we had something like, if you ever remember fire lighters to light a fire, well, these wee small tablets, and they didn't create any flame to save the enemy. It's just like a glow, and you cooked your food in that. And that's how you ate on the field, you know. And everything was there for you. The American rations was far superior to ours, you know. Oh, yeah.
How about the cold? Do you remember the cold?
Oh, yes, very much so, yeah. Yeah, not only that, when we went out there, we just had, it's hard to explain, so you need to see pictures. We had just had a battle, what they call a battle dress, a tunic and trousers, khaki, you know, your emblems on, sort of thing. And the Americans and all these other, and the Australians and Canadians, they had their combat suits, and they had liners inside, if you remember liners. You could zip them out in the summertime and put them back in the winter, you know. We didn't have that. All we had was, you'll see a picture of a greatcoat. We called the greatcoat, like a top coat, and your battle dress, and that's all you had. And when it rained or got wet, that was just too bad, you know, to get it okay in good weather, but not in the winter. We were ill-equipped, and not only that, we only had the weapons. Brain gun was the main weapon, a very good weapon, automatic fire, and then we had a rifle, a .303 Lee Enfield, a very famous weapon, but it was bolt action. You hadn't, you know, quick fire. You had to keep loading and unloading every time, and you had a magazine of 10 rounds on the rifle. No, I never had any Korean food.
Oh,
No.
even now?
Oh, I tried it on the way out to Korea with Karen here. I thought it would. They went around asking what you want, English or Korean, you know. So I tried Korean, but it was a bit too complicated because you had so much little tubes of different things to add, you know. Wherever I got through it. But having said that, you was talking about the food on the last day of our last visit in May there. I forget the name of the Patriots boss, as I call it. Was a woman, and she had a 7-course meal for us on the final night of the before departure, and went through 7 courses, and you'd hardly see what was on the plate. You know, it was very good. You know, but it was different from what I got on the aircraft.
Korean food at the time, but did you try Korean liquor at the time?
No, the only thing we got was 2 bottles a day of Asahi, Japanese beer.
Oh,
No, I haven't said that. Going out on the ship, the Empire Pride, as I said, it was a terrible ship. You had a hole in the wall, you know, just a square in the wall, and you're issued out 2 bottles of Asahi beer. That's all you forgot.
oh, I would have never guessed that. So no soju, huh? No Korean alcohol.
No, it was all Asahi beer.
Oh, okay. Do you think you'll see a unified Korea in your lifetime?
It's hard to say. I'd like to see it. I would definitely like to see it because it's a great pity of those poor people having the knowledge of what has gone on there, the starvation, even the soldiers not be able to get paid in that, and the treatment of the children, you know, and all those big pompous parades, whether machinery and rockets and what have you. It's a terrible sight.
Well, I'm hoping for peace not only on the Korean Peninsula, but in all of Ireland as well.
Thank you very much. 10 o'clock, 2200 hours. And what happened was, as we were going out, national lights out and everything, and we're going across, and I remember going up round this hill here, and in the dark and the windscreen, I could see heavy gunfire, consolidated gunfire, and you see the tracer bullets on the reflection of my windscreen. And I said to the guy who was with me, "This is great. This is 8th Royal Irish Hussars. Now, 8th Royal Hussars are tanks, Centurion tanks." And I said to the guy with me, "This is great. They're giving us cover and fire to get out." What happened was, we found out later, the medical officer and his driver in the Ford Willys Jeep was quite some distance behind me. Apparently the Chinese had did a horseshoe movement. Instead of coming across and holding it, they came that way, a horseshoe movement, and closed it. And the people behind me, that was them trapped and taken prisoner of war. I'll never forget that. Well, I'm surprised you don't know about the A-frame. A-frame is famous.